I'm Jay Sonic.
I'm DJ Mechalek.
And I'm Chomel.
And we are
Time Machine.
And we're going to tell you about our new album,
The Test of Time.
The test of time.
So yeah, this is the prelude. This is how it starts.
The reason I came up with it, I wanted it to kind of be like on Slow Roll how the clock ticks started out, but because it's a test of time, I wanted it to be like the futuristic, like melodic kind of version of that.
And the original draft had this super robotic voice that was on the test of time at the end.
Yeah.
And we worked through to more human sounding vocals until we ended up with the final.
Definitely, big thank you to Hallie Hyatt because Hallie absolutely crushed it. It's better than robot harmonies for sure.
Having a happy accident with chicks with heavy accents. Fireman sharp my accent. Shakespeare said we all act. Holding so much I'm back in. She want me back, man. In the school choir.
So this song is called Call of the Wild. The Call of the Wild?
Call of the Wild.
Call of the Wild. The working title is Happy Accidents from Chamel's verse. That's like some the beginning lyrics. It's just kind of a vibey song. A little introspective, a little, maybe just kind of.
You're stunting a little bit.
It's stunting a little bit, but it's also a little bit of like not deprecation, but like dissatisfaction or self-criticism or something.
Right.
It definitely touches on relationships, not for the first time in a Time Machine song at all. But maybe a little bit more in a kind of abstract kind of way.
There's a story about this. So Mech, he sent me this beat, and I had so much confidence that there was this woman working at CVS, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna play this beat. I'm gonna walk down there.
Holler at the CVS.
I was supposed
Cashier.
to be going back to her. And so I'm walking down the street, I'm playing, none of the lyrics are said, it's just this vibe I'm getting from this beat. I'm like, yo, this beat is so ill. I go, whatever, I shot the ball, missed, but it was that beat, I was like, well, I want to put that confidence and that whatever I was feeling into that beat. And then I came up with the last line first.
Really?
Actually. And then I was like, all right.
What's the last one?
Dynamite. That's what I am, I suppose. And for a lot of these songs, I was actually working backwards. I was like, if I know the last line, all I have to do is get there. And it was interesting because Mac didn't really like the beat, but he's like, I know you're gonna like the beat, and that's gonna make me like the beat.
You didn't like the beat?
It's so simple. It's
so
simple,
but you know what? Not everything needs to be complicated.
Right, but as a producer, everything doesn't. If I'm gonna be satisfied with it, but. That he's right. I knew it was the right. I knew it was the right vibe, the right bounce, the right kind of. It was spaced out but melodic.
We here. Where you at? We here. Where you at? We here. Good news, God's clear. Grass still green, here to clean air. Rocking chairs, recycle toys. Peace and quiet to making noise. Photo albums.
This one's called We Here, and Chamel has the first verse, but I feel like you came up with the chorus or the idea. Or did he come up with the verse and you came up with the hook?
The way I remember it was, this was actually the first, when I came for the summer and we finally decided, all right, we're gonna focus, this is our focus, we're getting this done. This is one of the first beats Mech sent us, and Jay's got this nice poster in his living room and it says, We Here. And
it just says here.
Oh, it just says here? Alright.
That was just
and me and Jay, we was looking at the post, and then we just started going back and forth, like, we here, and I was alright. And then we just built off of that idea.
For the Time Machine purists, this is probably going to be one of the favorite songs on the album. The beat, I mean, the drums just smacking so hard, super melodic, and kind of a unique approach, as you know, I think lyrically.
Yeah.
Like it's basically a song about presence, which is not really a common theme, I think, in most rap songs.
Not at all.
The things I like to do, the things I like to do, the things that's good for you, the things that's good for you. Ooey ooey you, ooey ooey you, say ooey ooey you, say ooey ooey you.
So this is Things I Like to Do. It's the first song out from the album. You know, like process-wise, in terms of the songs we make, you know, there's different ways that it happens in terms of where the ideas come from, or, you know, whatever chicken or the egg scenarios, beats or concepts or whatever. But this is kind of a classic example of one that I'm kind of, you know,
known for
leading the way on, like, for a concept that maybe, like, it makes perfect sense to me. Eventually I can articulate it to these guys in a way where they get it, because it's kind of like, you know, and then, you know, it becomes a song that's, you know, pretty concept heavy and, you know, obviously tongue-in-cheek, but still kind of has a little bit of signature Time Machine humor, a little bit of dark humor as we get older. And,
it's not that innocent.
No, it isn't, but it's
a little bit.
And we haven't had the benefit of seeing how many people will respond to it, but it feels like one of those songs that, you know, Time Machine fans will think of when they think of, you know, our songs that stood out. I think it's going to be one of those.
I thought it was it. Like when you spit your verse, I was like, this is it. This is that everything you said, the topic, the humor, just.
And it's
so
pretty down tempo for like our reintroduction, but it just feels like it works.
Baby wanna push the stroller, acting grown up. Had to apologize for acting like shown up. Honey milk, she like the bottom of my cereal. Took your honey, now Chef Ramsay about to scream on you.
This one you wrote 2 verses to.
This one killed me.
Yeah.
This is another one that killed me.
Yeah.
I was like, I just want to be done with this.
Oh my gosh.
Just verse after verse, but
Did you write 3?
Probably.
I think you wrote 3.
There's always a song on the album that like will kill you, where we're like, this was my song.
Yeah.
It was just like, fuck. Like everything else I pretty much could nail, but this was like, it was hard to get the idea to get it to work. And we didn't have the hook.
Well, that's
way later.
That's the thing. The messed up thing about it was that when you finally got your verse, we had these huge spaces in between each verse, these great verses with this great.
It was like what to do.
And it just was like you couldn't catch the vibe of the song because it kept dying when it came to the end.
So you must have like had a feeling that something like that belonged there.
I knew it had to be a male singer, real soulful, and thankfully our guy Vertigo was who
recorded the album,
who recorded the entire album at Beatbox Studios, and it was the greatest vibe. And he let me like peek over his shoulder and point at the screen, which I probably get smacked by some other engineer for doing that, but. He was like, I do know this guy, Sean Miranda, and you know, it's Vert, so we had to take his word for it, and this guy just absolutely destroyed it. He sounds beautiful on it, so he just, man, that was the connect, you know, via Vert and the connect from verse to verse that we needed, just perfectly tied everything together.
Yeah, that was a mech idea, because he kept saying, you know, he wanted like a soulful hook, and I just was not hearing it in my head. How in God's green earth is that gonna work? Like, but he heard it, and then he sent me the track. I was back in California already, and it's like, yo, we recorded this, and I'm just listening to it, not expecting anything, and this hook just comes out of nowhere, and it's like, holy shit, like this dude fucking, he heard this the whole fucking time. This is crazy because it just came out of nowhere to me, but it worked. It completely works. It's dope. So
all of this. The yellow brick road wasn't always paved yellow. It took a whole lot of bottles of limoncello, pineapple jello, shots. We should get together and connect these dots, pop these bubbles, drop these troubles. I'm the best wingman ever, Barney Rubble. I could jump on that grenade if you need me to. Holla at a friend like come and watch some TV, boo.
You Had Me At.
You Had Me At, of course. There's actually a video for it that Jamel made.
Scorsese.
Courtesy a la Scorsese.
Hell yeah.
This song was one where Jay had the concept. We were in the same area in the kitchen.
I still don't even understand what the concept is.
The whole concept was just the whole idea, like, yo, you had me at. That was all we.
Yeah, just the words, basically.
The words. That was the concept.
Like, yeah,
And
I was on board from You Had Me At.
And Jay brought it up. I heard the beat, and I was like, I bust it. This is my verse. And I actually wrote the verse. Like, it was one of those verses I just like spit off. And then I didn't even think. I was like, this verse is stupid. Like, whatever. It was fun to write.
Just, like, you put so much like seasoning in it, and just like went so, just really did your thing on it. And then there's these kind of like subtle NWA references and throughout, which it's not really about anything specific. It's just about peppering it and a little homage.
Well, it's funny that you say you didn't know that we would like the verse, because when I made the beat, I was like, this shit is fruity. Like, it's so fruity. And I've been working with people, and I was making some real kind of tough, real hard beats. And then, like, I'm making this beat, and I'm like, oh, man. But when it was done, I was like, I know this is a Time Machine beat.
Yeah.
And it did.
Unquestionably is.
Good friends to the end, admiration. Recognized for your talents, all of them. Got a plan and it's working good for once. Inspired by the ones to see in the sun.
2003 through 2009, we lived on Commonwealth Avenue in East Hollywood, Los Angeles. There was a bar on Virgil Ave called the SMOG Cutter, which was run by Sunshine, a lady named Sunshine, and I don't know who else works there, but it would be karaoke some nights. I remember being in there one night. It's called the SMOG Cutter. I remember being there one night, and like people were fighting, and they locked everybody in. Like they locked the front door, and I was like,
that's a fire hazard.
Don't understand what the strategy is here, how this is gonna pan out. I live to tell. But the SMOG Cutter was like our neighborhood bar for the spot where we lived from 03 to 09. So being the hook, the sample hook says, I wish that it would rain and
take the smog
away.
Yeah.
So naturally, anytime I hear the word SMOG Cutter comes to mind, and that's the title. But it's just kind of a little, again, like probably the closest approach is it's kind of a similar approach to Call of the Wild, like a little like swaggy. They still say swaggy.
Yeah.
A little swaggy, but also a little kind of self-reflective, melancholy. A little bit kind of like, that's just how shit is, huh? Type of approach. And we have a guest. It's the only song with a guest rapper on it, SWANN, who's a Rhode Island legend rapper, and just kind of came in with some like forceful third verse on the song.
I remember you were in California when we recorded SWANN at Beatbox, and I sent you a clip of it, and you just text back and you go, what the is going on over there? Because SWANN just blacked. He just blacked out, and when I sent him the beat, I resequenced it for him, and he was like, should I record to this whole to the whole
space
Yeah. And I was like, whatever you want to do, and he got it, man. He recorded to the whole thing, and just man, the way he bounces on that beat, the flow, the cadence, everything is just like absolute domination, man.
I'm awkward at a glance, my chakras is advanced. And if I was much stronger, then my arms would look like Lance. I'm boring, not a chance, I'm black so I could dance. A time before crack, Janelle Shabazz know the chant.
I'm gonna take this one. This one's called It Used to Be Easy. And I have just very, very vivid memories of this one, because this to me is, this is when the album really was like, okay, we're actually making an album here. Like this is gonna be like a full investment. So I have this very vivid memory of making this instrumental, making this beat, and for some reason it must have been the summer, because Jamel was here in Rhode Island, and I wanted to capture like the kind of like the mid to late 90s in New York feel, and I sent it over to these guys, and I remember being in your kitchen, in Jay's kitchen, and Chamel's like, I got something for it, and you got this like Bluetooth speaker, you still have it, the Bluetooth speaker on the counter, and you're playing the beat. And
this speaker was before Bluetooth. That's aux.
Oh, that's aux. Okay, aux. And this dude just spit like it was like all the stuff you were going through in your life at that moment in a verse, and like you were just so in that by the time you got to the end of that verse, I was like, oh.
Yeah, it's very personal. There's definitely some warning in there, like dealing with kind of like personal, airing. So.
This is your second verse. The first verse that you wrote was not as personal.
What came first, his verse?
Yeah,
and then I was like, all right, let me. And then it just like couldn't hang. So then
you were on some. I don't remember what you were on, but I was like, just talk to people like you're letting them in.
Go in deeper.
Yeah. And then you spit like the realest shit you ever. So.
Yeah, this was another scenario where like Meg was sending us beats, and I was just like, oh my god, like you only pray that you can rap as good as the beat. And this was another scenario where I knew it was gonna end. It used to be easy.
Oh wow.
I knew that part, so I just had to like build it backwards, and because I knew it used to be easy, I knew that I also had to build tension, because that would be released in the verse too. So there was a ton of stuff going on. Jay was doing photography at the time, and Jamel Shabazz like called one day, and we had his book A Time Before Crack. So I'm looking at these photos, I'm getting all these feelings from the photo, and like, I had other books, and it was just that like just spitting about like insecurities, but still trying to be cool. And I was like, all right, and I had this release at the end, so it's like take all that, build all this tension, and then when you get to the end, the listener and the beat should just like, boom. And so that was the approach for that.
I'm waiting, damn near impatient. In fact, I remember back as a little boy, having dreams of piano playing, spiritual starvation. Why won't they get that little change when you could be on that beach that feel like you bait?
So Just Kids was that was one of the early songs written for the album. It's actually before we decided to make an album. Mac just had that beat. As another song, I knew the last lines too.
Oh, wow.
I knew that, so I built it backwards, and also I was like, there's gonna be tension, I have to build this tension, and it was just summertime, and it was late night, I had the beat.
I think you were working on other music, and like you were approaching in a much different way, because it felt like maybe Time Machine has certain like constraints or approaches, and so you're working on other music that had different constraints or approaches or none, and then so I feel like you were taking that energy and approaching this, and it allowed you to like vocally like do something that we had never done before, and it was just like, on one hand, it was like, does this fit with Time Machine? But on the other hand, it was just like, like we want to make it fit whether it does or not because it's powerful.
Exactly. I personally, I didn't know how the hell you were gonna write that.
I didn't
second
either.
verse.
I was like, shit. What?
Where do you go from there?
Why you doing that?
Yeah, just it was one of those beats. It was like, yo, this beat, like Mech just blesses you, and you're like, yo, you just want to like strangle the beat too. And sometimes you pull it off, sometimes you go too far, and you present your verse, and it's not it. And I presented this verse, and it was just like, I just knew it. I had the verse, I had the hook. I was like, yo, this is the song. And like,
you captured everything that needed to be captured on that beat. But the question is how the hell you were gonna do it, and then you came with this crazy like wordplay, like larger than life.
My verse, I knew that, you know, the energy and the flow and the whatever words apply to his verse, I knew I wasn't gonna be able to do that, and nor did I want to, because you know, it would cheapen the song.
Right.
But so I knew how to do something to stand out, and what I did was that I made the last word on one line and the same as the first word on the following line, from beginning to end on the whole verse.
Killed it. This guy's a great fucking writer. Yeah. Fucking right.
We make it work somehow. The good thing about us is if we do something whack, we agree that we don't get angry about it. We just go back to the drawing board.
Might be a little angry about it.
Innocent lifetime signs with the bright lines make the money go delicious. At it with the white crimes, I gotta get mines. Girlies in the money go delirious.
So when I was putting the album together, one of the things that I always wanted to do with Time Machine, and originally when we were making the Test of Time, I wanted there to be 2 solo tracks. It just didn't work out that way. For whatever the reason, I think time constraints, creatively tapped out probably by the end of this. Every Time Machine song is so well crafted from beginning to end. It's so thought out. Every part is very, perfectly planned and plotted. And these songs are kind of abruptly end. And we've never done that before. So that was also something I wanted to do. And this is the first of the 2 of those that go like that.
Well, whatever, but she was dope. Big time. Dope with a capital D.
Thanks.
You are so dope. I mean, you were so dope. You are so dope. I mean, you were so dope. You are so dope. I mean, you were so dope. Just cool no matter what. No matter what. You are so dope. I mean, you were so dope.
Yeah, this is gonna start with me. This is "You Are So Dope." I'm not gonna say what sample it is, but
you don't have to.
I heard it. I heard it. I was watching
You're
something.
talking about the musical or vocal?
No, the vocal. I heard it, and I was like, "This needs to be used."
There's samples on this album.
Oh yeah, that's true. So, and then I was listening. It was one of the few times in my head I kind of combined everything, and I knew exactly what drum. I knew exactly how to chop everything. I knew what the vocal hook was going to be. It doesn't happen very often. I usually tinker around and come up with something, but I knew this one ahead of time, and it was just so Time Machine.
We don't really have braggadocious lyrics that much. We try to have songs that are specifically about something, but this song is specifically about something in a braggadocious way, so somehow it still kind of worked. And yeah, that was it. Heard the beat, wrote it, shipped it.
I'm snug as a bug in a rug, flipping through the source, looking at ads for lugs. Mommy, will you buy me a pair? Those were played out before they came out, I don't care. Remember when you wanted Walker wear the sock hat and the hooded tee with the cock hat? I think we could agree that it's not fat, and still you beg me until I cop that.
So I would say it's safe to say that Dumb Lazy is the weirdest song on the album. Your flow is from probably not from another planet, but it's from like some town that's like in the year 1958, but somehow somebody's rapping anyways. It's like it's otherworldly, or like other timely, or like it makes. I went to I saw Back to the Future at a drive-in movie last week, and like if somebody was rapping in the movie, it would be like your verse.
Yeah,
it's like some
that makes sense.
I might have channeled Dusty
like
Rose for that one.
So he has an alter ego called Dusty Rose that like chews on straw. It's like there's this innocence to it,
right? The sing-songy, pitchy, but still it's not singing, but it's like very melodic at the same time.
I see a horse of a different color through this kaleidoscope, running down the track to get the glory. Hopping out of the bath because it's boring and headed outside where it's pouring. The story goes.
Walk Away.
Walk Away.
That song is Walk Away. That's my favorite part of the whole album. We had the hardest time figuring out how the hell what songs go in what order. And this was another full song that Mech just chopped in half, and it features Jay's verse, which is he's this laser beam in. And if you listen to the album, there's this arc in the album, and this song is actually, it's not like this rah-rah song, but just like all the emotion that builds up to this particular song. You're just at the peak of this arc, and you know,
I'm glad you got that.
Yeah, I mean, even the drums are restructured, everything, but like it's just like, and then it comes out with this drum roll and ill verse, and like it's just very, I don't know, it's just, if you pay attention, you'll get it, and it's very satisfying. Like it just, I don't know, you just feel like, all right, complete it, and it keeps going. But we were debating whether we should have the whole song or not, and I was just like, no way, like this is. Every time I hear this part, it's so dope. So
let's don't just stand here. Let's do something. Let's do something. What? Let's don't just stand here. Let's do something. Let's do something.
It's the only song that was actually recorded in the Truth Booth in LA. It's
that's actually
only song that Vertigo didn't record. So, you know, it takes me right back there. Just everything you guys are talking about.
Yeah, we were transitioning like as a group, and like I was definitely just out there, just like going for it in any direction. And you know, we had beats, we had a booth. I would just, you know, it wasn't anything if they didn't like it, so it could easily get scrapped. So I would just be up late at night and just go in and write some stuff and be like, hey, I did this last night, like, do you guys like it? If they didn't, we'd scrap it. But like, we had another song about like some bus that was just like, we were like, no, that's not working. But this one, you know, this one just made it, you know, like over time we were like, yo, there's something different about it. Like, it's fun, the beat's definitely its own thing, and it survived. So it's kind of cool. That actually is the last song we recorded with the Truth.
Yeah.
Tell them who you are, tell them who you is, tell them who you are, tell them who you is, tell them who you are, tell them who you is. Tell them. Just another Jewish man in a German car, headed to a tapas bar with a Spanish broad, sipping Cuban coffee at a Danish tulip table. I went global on that ass. Now who the hell needs cable?
So this TM Country is the last song on the album. It's just a super hard mech-like beat, and concept I came up with was to have all these geographical references throughout my verse, and then there's this recurring line, I went global on that ass, and that's kind of a reference to went solo on that ass. Yeah. So it's just fun, and I think it's one of the songs I'm probably most proud of on this album, and just feels like us, Time Machine, at our best, always kind of was thematic with our songs, and you know, this is probably a classic example of that.
Yeah, I gotta send a huge extra large thank you to my buddy Newman, because he sent me this record in the mail, and he was like, yo, I sent you a couple of records in the mail. I take this record out of the package, and it's on the 4-inch circle on the record. It's got this huge TM on it, and he's like, you know, there's nothing I can do with this. You might be able to do something with this, and there wasn't anything obvious. It took a while, but I was like, I know this is gonna work. I'm going at it till it works. And this is kind of another example of when I sent you guys the beat, and then we're at your crib and you're playing it on the aux cable in your kitchen, and you just spit that verse, and Chamel and I were just like, wow, that's exactly what needs to happen on this beat.
Your dog won't catch no fleece, and that kitty cat will have your wallet on empty. I went global on that ass, and my anthem handle